might have seen there the other day at the National Ploughing Championships that Amy Burke and her mother Martina Burke attended the Ploughing Championships, and they went to the stand of the Bar of Ireland. That's the Law Library stand, and they had a stand there for the first time, and they proceeded to put some questions to the gentleman that was there, Michael O'Connor, apparently senior counsel, about the difficulty that Simeon Burke is having in getting a master, and it's a necessary step in becoming a practicing barrister at the bar. So Mrs. Burke and Amy Burke, her daughter, were basically suggesting to Michael O'Connor that for religious reasons, and because the Bar Law Library and the Bar of Ireland promoted transgenderism and so on, and that Simeon Burke apparently doesn't have the same views, that this was the reason why he was unable to get a master. And as I say, it is a necessary part of qualifying or becoming a practicing barrister. Now, just to be clear, a barrister is a self-employed person, so once they qualify, they are free to get their own clients, etc., and practice at the bar. But there's two steps, there's two stages, two broad stages, similar to becoming a solicitor. If you want to become a solicitor, there's a certain academic achievement, a certain academic threshold that you must pass. You must get the entrance exams, the FE ones, for example, to the Law Society. However, it's a similar situation for barristers. They have their own academic requirements, etc. But once they do that, then, like a solicitor getting a traineeship or an apprenticeship or traineeship with a practicing and training solicitor, a barrister must then become a pupil to a master, must find a master and spend at least 12 months doing what's called pupilage or deviling. And this Simeon Burke has had great difficulty in getting a master to take him on. And so his mother and his sister were at the ploughing this week and raised these questions with Michael O'Connor, senior counsel, and Ingrid Miley then was there on the stand as well. She's a former, I think, industrial relations correspondent, and not 100% with RTE, but she's a former journalist with RTE. She began to explain to Mrs. Burke what the situation was and engage, etc. But it seems, looking at the video on Twitter, and I looked at the video on Twitter which was posted on the Enoch Burke account, obviously it mustn't be Enoch Burke that's posting it, given that he's in Mountjoy, so somebody else must be posting it or running the account in his absence. But looking at the account, Ingrid Miley was engaging with Mrs. Burke and me Burke and explaining the position as far as she could see. But somebody came over then and suggested to Ingrid Miley that she was engaging in a futile exercise. So she left and she went off in a car, and the whole thing is on Twitter anyway. You can have a look at it yourself. You'll see the video yourself where Mrs. Burke, Martina Burke and Amy Burke attended the stand for the Bar of Ireland, the Law Library. There has been a number of reports then in newspapers. I saw it in the Irish Independent and I saw it in the Irish Times. And basically Simeon Burke is complaining that he is being effectively shut out of the Law Library without a senior barrister to take him on. He's a brother of Enoch Burke, and he says that he's been trying unsuccessfully since 2022 to find a master to take him on as a devil. And this is a necessary step to becoming a barrister and practicing on your own account eventually. You do need to have a master, and you do need to do the deviling. It's similar to a trainee solicitor coming into this office, for example. The first year of your practice as a barrister must be spent as a pupil. It's known as a one-year pupilage with an approved Dublin-based practitioner. The would-be barrister must complete a new practitioners programme provided by the Bar of Ireland during this year in tandem with his work with his master. Undertakings must also be given in respect of certain areas of practice. and you must also have professional indemnity insurance. But none of this is possible, obviously, without being able to secure a position with a master. During the year of pupilage, also known as deviling, the pupil or devil must carry out their master's instructions and learn about the nature of professional practice. During this year, the pupil is not paid. So it's not uncommon to see young barristers, newly qualified barristers and not so young barristers having second jobs to keep the show on the road, to pay rent and get by. So you see them working in restaurants and coffee shops and so on. You must apply to the Bar of Ireland to become a member of the Law Library before the 15th of June in the year in which you intend to begin your practice. But obviously you need a master. Once a barrister becomes a member of the Law Library, they're free to build up, take up work in their own right and to start to build their own practice in their own name. They are self-employed individuals, just like solicitors or whoever. Now, well, obviously solicitors could be self-employed or they could work in a practice for somebody else as an employee, but barristers are self-employed. This pupilage situation, this deviling, is the final stage of training to qualify as a practicing barrister. As I say, practicing or practical training rather is supervised by an experienced member of the bar who is listed on the Register of Masters maintained by the Bar of Ireland, and it's this Register of Masters that Simeon Burke is unable to obtain a position with. He needs to have a master. Otherwise, he simply has the academic qualifications but cannot finish off his become a barrister basically and practice at the bar. The aims of pupilage are to prepare pupils who have been called to the bar for practice at the Bar of Ireland, to develop further the knowledge, skills and experience gained at the vocational stage of training. So it's basically hands-on practical exercise, practical work where you'd be going around to the district court and various courts to do basically your master's bidding. You'd also get some opportunity to develop your skills as an advocate. That's an important part of being a barrister, obviously, being able to advocate on behalf of your client. A pupil would also be developing their professional and ethical approach to practice as a barrister in accordance with the Code of Practice for the Bar of Ireland. Simeon Burke now has written to the chairman of the Bar Council complaining that he is being effectively shut out of membership of the Law Library and his ambition to practice as a barrister before the courts. Simeon Burke studied law at UCG, Galway, at Cambridge, at the Honourable Society of King's Inn. He's won prizes as a student and he was called to the bar in first place in October 2023. He's been trying unsuccessfully to find an established barrister to take him on as a pupil or devil, which, as I say, is a necessary step for barristers who wish to appear before the courts. Simeon Burke obviously appeared before the courts on his own account there last year when he was convicted of a public order offence arising from a melee in the High Court or Court of Appeal. Now, he did have that conviction successfully overturned. He appealed it and had it set aside and overturned. The Law Library, it publishes a master's list of practicing barristers who are willing to take on devils for a year as part of the mandatory pupilage system run by the Law Library. Simeon Burke says that he's been actively trying to find a master since October 2022. He says he's been emailing, calling and meeting with barristers whose names are on the master's list. He has not yet obtained a pupilage for the coming year, and obviously he believes that this is basically shutting him out of the Law Library and out of the profession. Simeon Burke has been in touch with the Law Library member relations team requesting assistance, but he was told that no assistance could be provided other than his being directed to the approved list of masters. Simeon Burke says that he's deeply concerned about what he believes is to be different treatment that he's been experiencing to other applicants for membership of the Law Library who have not established a pupilage arrangement. And he's basically concerned that he's being shut out of the possibility of becoming a member of the Law Library and practicing in the courts due to the situation, and that will obviously be something that's going to cause him a great deal of concern. There's no point having all the academic achievements and so on and so forth if you can't actually finish off the necessary training and qualification by getting the pupillage and getting a master. He's writing to the chairman then of the Bar Council, Sean Gearan, Senior Counsel, as a matter of urgency. In relation then to the public order offence with which he was convicted and which he had successfully overturned on appeal, in granting the appeal, the judge said that he was not convinced that the barrister's unbecoming behaviour met the threshold for a public order offence. So he successfully overturned in April of this year, I think, the conviction in the district court for a public order offence. Simeon Burke then pointed out to Mr. Gearan in his letter to him that, you know, statements from the law library where it said newly qualified barristers can be assured of sourcing a master in order to complete their year of pupillage, and that the Bar of Ireland is committed to ensuring equal opportunity in the profession, respecting the diversity and individualism of its members, recognising the intrinsic values of diversity at the Bar, and expanding the breadth of its membership. So Mr. Burke, Simeon Burke, has pointed this out to Mr. Gearan in his letter. The Bar of Ireland have said that they've no comment to make. So there you have it. What do you think about this, about the difficulty that Simeon Burke is having in obtaining a master? Do you think that there's any, what explanation there might be? Is it a surprise to you? I'd be interested to see your comments down below on this situation.